What we're trying to glean from this interview is the process for getting federal aid for these storm victims. Can you give me a summary of what that looks like exactly? I understand y'all were out here last week surveying damage, but I don't believe there's been an official declaration yet. So, what's that process look like?
So the process starts with the preliminary damage assessments. Actually, it starts a little bit before that when we were asked to come and support that process with the state and county officials. And so we were there and were able to wrap that up this past weekend. And so the damages from San Diego floods from about a week ago have been assessed by those teams. And so now it's up to the county and the state to start to put their data together based on what we were able to find and determine whether or not that damage exceeds the capability of the state and the county to be able to support those individuals who were impacted. And so once they make that decision and put the data together, provide that report to their leadership team, they'll make a decision about whether or not they'll request a presidential disaster, which is what most people think of when they think about FEMA. Is a major disaster declaration that's signed by the president that would allow individuals to receive individual assistance. And sometimes it also allows the community to receive what we call public assistance, which helps with bridges and roads and things like that. And then sometimes, based on the data that they put together, they choose one or the other, or a combination of the assistance that's available from FEMA based on the data that they found during the events.
As I'm sure you're aware, Governor Newsom declared a state of emergency for not only San Diego County, but several other counties in response to the storms. What role does that play, if any, in the FEMA response? Does that help expedite things? Does that involve, what you were just saying about assessing the damage?
So we have to figure out if those are separate events or if they're the same event. It looks like they're separate because there was the rain that happened in San Diego before, or if this is all a part of the river flows that have come through the state. If they are combined in some way, that's a different conversation. But for right now, I would look at them as separate events. And so what's going on with the atmospheric rivers now, another decision can be made just based on the damage that's occurring, where the damage is occurring, um, the level of damage that the governor, the counties that you mentioned have seen in their communities, as to whether or not they believe that the damage exceeds the capability of the county and state to respond and manage it. They need to request a major disaster declaration or any type of disaster declaration from the federal government. And so they're going to make that decision similar to the way they're making the decision about the preliminary damage assessment from the severe flooding that happened in San Diego. They could do that they can look at the damage in a variety of ways, but they ultimately will make that decision.
When the FEMA Region 9 team was inspecting storm damage in San Diego last week, from your opinion or from your point of view, did that damage meet the threshold for federal response, or does it still need to go through the channels of assessing damage at local and county levels?
That's a little bit outside of my realm of responsibility as to whether or not it meets the requirements, but I do want to share a couple of factors. So whether or not people had insurance or not goes into determining whether or not assistance can be provided. The disaster impacted profile, impact to community infrastructure, casualties, and disaster-related unemployment are some of the areas that we look at. And on our website, you can find out, a full explanation of how individual assistance in particular is determined, and then additional information on how public assistance would be determined in the community as well.
We've done several stories on the flood insurance problem, and we actually have conducted a poll as well. It was like about 500 people or so, and based on that poll, it seems like a lot of people in San Diego don't have that flood insurance. So even before a presidential disaster declaration, is there a way that these victims could get any aid because they don't have insurance already?
That's an excellent question, and I here on the ground and spoke to a lot of those impacted residents who did not have flood insurance. And so it's really sad to see that they need so much support right now and weren't totally clear on how to receive that support. And so last week, there was a local assistance center that brought individuals from a lot of different organizations and agencies in the state to help individuals to recover. Now, I believe that they're looking at opening another local assistance. In the meantime, you can always call 211 to connect directly to nonprofit organizations and agencies that may have assistance available. The other thing that I saw when I was on the ground last week was that the American Red Cross door to door, similar to us, in doing damage assessments to determine whether or not individuals were eligible for assistance directly from them. And there are other charitable organizations who are doing similar work in the community. So I would really encourage individuals who were impacted, did not have flood insurance, immediate help so that they can be safe and whole, to definitely reach out to 211 and also reach out to your local and county emergency management offices to see other resources available that I might not know about at this point.
I know you briefly mentioned that, flood victims could go to the FEMA website to try to see if they'd qualify for federal aid, assuming that a declaration is made at some point. But what is some of that criteria? Like, how would one qualify for federal aid from FEMA when there is a declaration at the federal level in place?
So not exactly. So
Okay.
they can go to FEMA's website to get information on the declaration process and what the criteria are for the state and county to submit their information to know whether or not a federal declaration is possible for them. And so that might not be the information that a layperson would care as much about. However, there is information on our website and will be information on our website. If for some reason there is a federal declaration, individuals can go there to find out what steps they can take to apply for FEMA assistance. But we're just not there yet. And so what we've instructed the folks in our call center to do is just be ready to provide those 211 resources to individuals who may reach out to us, who are concerned about receiving assistance and did not have flood insurance or just need help, so that we can support getting the information out there to the community about what is available to them right now. I hesitate to talk about what is available through individual assistance because there was so much miscommunication about the fact that people may be able to call us and get help, and they were so frustrated when they tried to reach out and then weren't able to receive help. But that information is available on our website if people just want to research. But right now, we're just waiting for the data to all be compiled and a decision to be made at the state level to determine whether or not they'll request a federal declaration. And then once a request is made, we will do all that we can to get that declaration done as quickly as possible if the state and county meet the criteria to allow us to be able to provide that assistance.
Several of these events back to back. So as you mentioned, we had the January 22nd, we have the atmospheric rivers going on now. Does that slow down the time frame for this because they're going to have those ongoing assessments, or what does that look like?
No, it doesn't. We are, fully staffed and available to be able to get additional support out to the state and other counties who may be experiencing damage and need preliminary damage assessment. And so we continue to be available and ready and on the spot to support the state and the county with any resources that they may need to be able to help Californians through this really challenging time with so much flood water that they really just haven't experienced before. But there's one resource that I think we can make available to your viewers, which is ready.gov/floods. And also for those individuals who may be experiencing the atmospheric rivers that do have flood insurance, wealth of information at floodsmart.gov to help you to start the process to submit for your insurance claim, to get information on how to start cleaning up, the best ways to clean up, how you can document your damages and those kinds of things. And even for people who don't have insurance, there's some really great resources there that can help you just start the process of pulling things back together, because the road to recovery is really long, but we want people to have the tools to be able to not only be ready.gov, but also start that process of recovery through FloodSmart and other resources that we have as well.
And I know you just said that you're hesitant to speak on some of what may or may not be available as far as aid goes until, you know, a declaration is actually in place. But let's say there was. Does FEMA have a mechanism for notifying the victims aside from just telling them to go to the website, or do they have some other
Oh,
channels?
absolutely.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Absolutely. So that's part of my job, is to make sure that we're getting information out to you in the media to be able to share with individuals. We also send information out through local officials and county officials and state officials. So if there is a declaration, it will be very clear to individuals that that is happening and how they can go about applying for assistance, whether it's calling us or going on our website and filling out an application. Or going into a local assistance center if one of those is opened up again, where we would have representatives to be able to help. So please don't think that you won't know. You can definitely continue to watch our website, FEMA.gov, but you can also be assured that all of us, all of the federal and local and state community, want to make sure that people know what's available to them, especially if that were to happen.
Of course, most definitely. And again, another question about like when something is in place. So what would the timing look like for receiving federal aid for an individual like one of these victims? What would it take weeks, months? And if so, is there any way for that time frame to be shortened or expedited?
It's really an individual case by case basis. And I hate to say that because I want to make sure that people have all of the information that they need. But it depends on whether or not they have insurance. It depends on whether or not we're able to verify that they who they say they are at the time that they submit the application. So if they submit the application and there may be some hiccups in the information that they submitted, we may have to go back and review it. And so I would hate to tell someone, oh, it'll be really easy. You just submit the registration or the application and assistance will be right there for you. Some people, it does take longer. And so one of the reasons why we encourage individuals to reach out to those nonprofit resources like 211 is because we don't know, based on their individual situation, how long getting assistance will take, especially since we don't have a declaration right now. And so it's really important that individuals do what is necessary so their families can be safe and whole and, able to have a safe place to sleep at night until those other resources are available to them, if they become available to them.
Mhm. Okay, and under that scenario, would someone without flood insurance possibly get aid faster than someone who does have flood insurance?
Well, it depends. If the individual has already reached out to their flood insurance provider and has submitted a claim and is clear on their coverage, what their coverage is, what their coverage is not, then they can easily submit that information over to us. If for some reason they're having a challenge getting that information back, or, God forbid, those documents have been lost in the storm, and so they don't have access to them, that may take a little bit longer. But our goal is assistance to people as quickly as possible. And so once they submit their registration, if they give us a call or reach out to us, we'll help them to navigate what ways can make it a lot easier for them to go ahead and fulfill the requirements to be able to receive assistance. And so I don't want people to worry about that because we're really concerned about making sure that they get it as quickly as possible if they're eligible for it.
So, what are the next steps for FEMA right now? Like, what's it looking like today? What will it look like tomorrow? What's going on in your world?
Today, we're monitoring what's going on, not only because we're concerned about the state and the residents of the state, but we are also responsible for Arizona and Nevada, and we're concerned about what impacts could move in that direction as well. We are closely monitoring what counties and states are telling to their residents so that we can amplify those messages and help them in the process of letting people know how to be during this time, because that's the most important thing right now. We're also setting up resources just to be ready to support the state. And so teams and individuals, people resources, as well as actual commodities are in place so that if the state were to call on us, those items would be available to them to be able to move out to the locations where they are needed. And so we're constantly on the case of disasters. Unfortunately, it's happening in California right now in a way that it hasn't happened in so many years. And so we're really working with all of our partners to make sure that we're getting as much information out to folks as possible and that all of our resources are in place to support at a moment's notice.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that we didn't touch on already?
Just want to make sure that people know that we are working very closely with the state and with the county to provide as swiftly as possible. And our teams were working around the clock last week just to make sure that those initial preliminary damage assessments were completed in San Diego, and we'll be doing that in other counties as well to make sure that people can get the assistance that is available to them as quickly as possible. And so thank you for talking to us. Thank you for your patience with this process. I know it can be frustrating, and definitely reach out to us if we can support you in any way.